Well, welcome to Frozen Nauvoo for those that haven't seen it in the winter. It does get snow. We've just come over a pretty decent snowstorm. There's the Brickyard. This is Lucy Mack Smith's home. Down the street there is the home that we first stayed in. That was by Joseph Coolidge. Keep forgetting his last name. Right over here you've got the schoolhouse, and just ahead of that you've got the John Taylor print shop, and in snow. For those, like I said, that are used to sweating and in hot humidity, we are having some very cold weather. Today it got all the way up to the high 20s, I think. We were almost to non-freezing. It was really close. We might have just tipped over that, but then we get down to the cold winter. The tours are over for the day. They get a few that come through here, and they stay open as much as they can, which is almost always. There's the Browning Gun Shop, Brigham Young's home down the way there, Riser Boot Shop. We feel a lot more stable, if I can stand on one foot, with these cleats, because they work so much better on this ice. We feel a little more confident that we're not gonna trip over ourselves. Brigham Young's home here, I understand they're gonna be doing some renovations, and there's a possibility it may not be open next summer. We'll see. Wow, you can see the geese. I can't figure out why they didn't go south for the winter. But now they're complaining a lot up there why they didn't here on the Mississippi Flyway. They're flying over the Mississippi, but I guess they find plenty to eat here, and they're here year-round. I'm not sure what tracks these are here. And but they're just little, they look almost like bunnies, I'm thinking. And this here is the forge, the blacksmith and the Wainwright. That's a fun tour, especially because it's a little warm in the winter with the fire. And you've got the 70s Hall right there. This is where the Pioneer Trail starts. That's a tour. But it also is the start of the Trail of Hope, which is just down this Parley Street there to the water. We're going to walk down that way. This is the 70s Hall where it all starts. We're going to be doing the Nauvoo Exodus on February 3rd, where they will get a lot of people out here and they will do the Exodus, and we will end up down on the end of Parley Street where I get to lead the choir, Faith in Every Footsteps. That will be fun. Depending on how cold it is, it may be the fastest rendition ever. They've got these reader boards all the way around. That's Orson Pratt just telling his story. And then you go to the next one all the way down, telling a little bit about what it was like as they left in February, which is just a couple of weeks from now, at least calendar-wise, when they did this, which would have been very bleak, especially because they did not have the same gear we have. I'm here with my nice little nose cover, my gloves, my cleats, which are very nice on the ice, and the only problem is when I breathe, I fog up. So these are the, what are they called? The oranges? What are they called?
It's an orange tree.
An orange sage, I think, or something like that. But these are the balls that come from them. Some animal started eating them and probably spit it out right here, because apparently animals don't even like those. But somebody's desperate enough that they're starting to eat them there. They're the green things, but they're not green anymore. They've turned orange. But apparently the animals had had enough of it, and they were hungry enough, they were trying to eat it. As you get to the last couple of stations here, it curves off to the left, and you hit the end, which is where the water is, and Montrose is across the water. Of course, it used to be a lot less wide until they did the dam at Keokuk, and that's when it became a lot wider. So it would have been very bleak. Now we have no wind blowing right now, which is sort of rare because it was blowing pretty hard the last little while. So it got the temperatures down to minus 29, I think it was. But we have since had the wind stop, and it's actually quite nice. Down here at the end, of course, it tells about their long journey. There were about 13,500 pioneers that fled Nauvoo in 1846. 1,300 miles they went. This would have been the beginning of where they hit the water. They probably would have hit the water about 100 yards out there, is my guess, because it wouldn't have been near as wide. There's Brigham and Joseph as they are looking forward to the westward journey. Of course, Joseph was martyred before they took that trip, but it would have started right here in Nauvoo and headed west. Montrose, the little village across the river. There's a common misconception that is told over and over about a miracle that the water froze that year, and I guess there are some years that it didn't, but the locals tell me that it, more often than not, does end up freezing most across. So that was a particularly harsh winter that it would have froze all the way. But then again, it would have been a lot more narrow because there was no dam down to the south in Keokuk. Here I am, using my faith to walk on water. Yep, I have a lot of faith apparently. I am on the Mississippi. It's a whole maybe foot deep below me, so I'm not really risking a whole lot. I guess I'm not technically swimming, so I am on the Mississippi. Walking on water because of my great faith, or stupidity, one or the other. I don't want to go out there because it starts getting deep, just in case I go in. That would not be good. But wow, this looks cool. This would have been lapping up. I don't know how that froze like that, but that's coming back, like a wave coming back. It's quite cool. The frozen Mississippi. Oh, here she comes. We've got our spikes on. She's gonna walk on water too. See what kind of faith she has. She can do it. Wow. Oh, ye of great faith. Okay, start walking across. Montrose is right over there. Not gonna happen. I know, these are just really cool, the sheets down here. Yep, cool. We're about maybe 10 feet offshore right now. Of course, it's a whole foot deep right here, so it's not like we're in any danger, except getting a foot wet maybe. But normally this is pretty pretty rapid here, moving water, and of course not a thing right now. I would love to walk over to Montrose, but you know, that's a big no-no. I thought, hey, it'd be fun to drive across, but I understand that's illegal. You're not to take a vehicle out on the ice here, like for ice fishing or whatever else. So we're going to keep the rules that way. But it looks like somebody was out here. Is that just a crack? I guess that was a crack out here that follows out there. That's a long crack that goes all the way out to that crack out there. It looks like, wow, that's strange that there's a crack that went all the way out there, one long one. It looks like a bicycle going out there, but I don't think there were any bikes going out. Very interesting out here. You can see how it would freeze and then the waves would push it up over and make so these are like frozen waves that got pushed out here. I'm standing on a wave here. Well, sort of a wave. Da 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 da. Whoa, I caught a wave here on the Mississippi. Of course, it's frozen. In fact, the water is only about 2 to 4 feet deep for quite a ways. In fact, the locals have told me that you can pretty much walk all the way across the Mississippi except for the deep channel that they use, of course, where the boats go. But the rest of it over here, like from that buoy out, that buoy you see right there, that is meaning to the boats, don't go inside this buoy because it's just too shallow. And that's why you get all the lily pads and everything over here, because it's just not deep enough. Well, I'm happy to report that we didn't go swimming. I would have got it away all the way up to my mid-calf, maybe, if I did, because I really wasn't on the water more than a few feet. Because we've got our spikes on, we're trying not to walk on the road so they don't, you know, get worn down. So we're trudging away in the snow. No eagles up in the eagle's nest today that I can see. They might be in there, but I don't think they are. Showing the aquatic life here on the Mississippi Flyway. Lots of fun things, the frogs, the turtles. We've got some really nice carp here, the catfish. And I have not seen a muskrat here, I don't think. But the mussels, you can see how they used to make buttons out of them. Over there in Montrose, they had a big old factory there in the late 1800s where they had thousands of them. And you can see, wow, the silver carp. Look at them, wow. Invasive species. But yeah, we see these big old lotuses out there. Usually, they're about gone now. So the ferry house is a little bit in disrepair in the snow, and especially this one over here, it's got a little bit of snow going on, but it's a cool little place still. Okay, what have we here? Looks like some goose prints over here on the river walk. I'm not sure what that is. Probably deer. Beautiful sunset starting here. You can hear the train across the river and heading down to Montrose. This is the Red Brick Store coming up. The upstairs was, of course, a very historic place where the Relief Society was formed with Joseph Smith and Emma, Eliza Snow, and many of the others. The whole thing beginning, of course, with some of the women here in Nauvoo seeing a need and Joseph taking it to the Lord. And we now have the largest women's organization in the world that came from it, that was started in the upper part of this Red Brick Store. This is run by the Community of Christ. They have a little store in here that you can go upstairs. It's a reconstructed place. It's not the original building, but it's where the original building was. The Smith Family Cemetery in winter. Not something most people get to see. Dedicated in 1991. Over here, of course, you've got the original log cabin. Got the homestead here. Got the mansion house, kitty corner to it. And as you walk in the winter, they have the Smith Family Cemetery, and of course you can't even see the graves because they're covered up in snow. But you've got Joseph Smith, and Hiram Smith and Emma are all right here. I was going to uncover it, but it's frozen solid. We'll just have to wait for that to thaw out on its own. Hey, baby, you doing good?
Doing good.
So fun. Oh, I should have turned that off. Oh. I'm gonna video. Okay. I don't remember what that's called. Is it the hotel or the? Is that the hotel?
Yeah, that's on the road.
I can never remember what it's Bitterman Stables on their side there, but it's Nauvoo House.
Oh.
I don't know what you say about Sydney Rigdon. What do you say about Sydney? He did not remain faithful to the end. Yep. This house on the left was one of the oldest homes in Nauvoo. I don't remember whose it was. Yeah, I think it was, wasn't it? You what? Yeah. Now the Community of Christ doesn't look at him as leaving the church, but
November 1830. He's one of the original members.
yeah, he was.
He was a member of the first presidency of the church from 1832 until the assassination in June of 1844. You can see why he thought, well, the first presidency leaves.
Yeah, he said, it's me. I was chosen as a counselor. I should be a caretaker for the church. I don't know. Thomas C. Bennett, I think. He was the nasty guy. Yeah. This is balmy because it's... Here it is. Wow. really is pretty.